nearly 30 years to have 20 and 20 off the bench?
Yeah, I mean, incredible stat line. He plays the energy and brings it every night. So it's impressive that he can collect that many rebounds and score, and in a role where we don't run anything for him. And so it's an incredible performance, and really happy for him. Given that he wasn't even in the league a month ago or so, and here he is putting up incredible stat lines.
In what ways have you seen players empower each other when you have key guys out and guys like Alizé stepping up? In what ways have you seen players empower their own teammates to strong performances?
I don't know if I have any tangible kind of anecdotes, but I just feel like our environment, is strong, and guys love to compete together and have formed, a bond throughout the course of the year where, frankly, we've had no choice, but we've taken on the opportunity to come together and to play in different rotations, combinations, lineups. And so I think that is a facet of our team where, you could say all the negatives of what's gone on this season, but the positive is that we've found a way to hold it together. And here we are with 43 and 20, with whatever, 30 something different starting lineups and all the things that have been thrown at us. So really proud of the group, the environment, the way they come to play no matter who's in or out, and they believe they can win.
Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Looking ahead to your upcoming stretch, you got 5 of the next 6 on the road, looking at Chicago's playoff chance. I mean, all against playoff eligible teams. What do you kind of make of this upcoming stretch? It's almost like a playoff simulation in the sense of on the road, every other day playing and having that grind and to close the regular season.
Yeah, tough stretch where we're on the road a lot, where I think we're home for 7 days of this 31-day period. So, it's important for us to stay focused, to do everything we can to get better, to win games, and also to prepare for the playoffs. So there's a lot going on this time of year, and I think remaining focused and having our eye on the bigger picture is important. But at the same time, like I said pregame, I think things change from day to day in this season. It's so unpredictable that we really have to just take it moment by moment and be prepared to adapt and adjust daily and still perform. And so tomorrow will be a different challenge. We'll see who's available tomorrow and how it all looks. And we'll go play a very good Portland team and try to put in a good performance.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Steve, I know we've talked about this a little bit before, but at this point in the season, knowing the injuries you have and then that it's later in the season, does a performance like this from Alizé Johnson change or shift your confidence in having to play him or a guy like him potentially in the playoffs?
I think we feel confident that all of our guys can play in the playoffs. It's just a matter of rotations and how many minutes can go around. You're going to play heavy minutes for your top players, and then your rotations shorten a little bit. So is there enough minutes to go around? Not for everybody, but at the same time, there could be situations, there could be rotations, matchup series that is line up for one of the guys on the bench that's on the fringe of the rotation. So we have confidence in all these guys. We try to empower them to play their game and to be confident. And if there's a matchup for some of these guys in the playoffs or a role that they can really step into, that's possible from game to game, series to series. But it's not possible for everyone to play and for us to have the same rotation where everyone gets minutes just because you shorten it and guys are playing more minutes in the playoffs. But we have confidence in Alizé, obviously certainly someone that will go in and defend and grab rebounds and run the floor and do things that can definitely add when you get into the playoffs and you need a spark. So like many of our guys, we have confidence in him, but it's hard to say right now what the rotation would be in the playoffs.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey, Steve. You talked about, obviously, in the playoffs, rotations tend to get shortened. But looking at tomorrow, I mean, Blake played 13 minutes, probably a little less than some might have anticipated. And KD, you had to go back to him in the fourth quarter, 36, maybe more than some would have hoped. Are those numbers clear? Make it clear enough already in your mind whether either or both would be able to play tomorrow, or is that something you really would wait?
Yeah. No, I think, that informs our opinion. I mean, my thought would be, like I said, pregame, Kevin doesn't play tomorrow and that Blake plays tomorrow. I don't love Blake playing back-to-backs, but we had an eye on this back-to-back, knowing that we're having, guys in and out of the lineup. So we definitely tried to protect him tonight so that he could be ready to go tomorrow. Not ideal, but, he's played very well for us, and it'd be nice to have him tomorrow. So we'll see. Like I said, who knows? We wake up tomorrow, who's playing, who's not playing, and we'll figure it out from there.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Coach. Excuse me. Earlier into Kevin's return, he had those high turnover numbers, those first few games back, and now what does he have now? 10 assists to just 2 turnovers tonight. What have you seen from him in a facilitating role? Because he was able to set a lot of guys up today, and then he even found other guys that didn't hit shots. So some of those passes weren't even reflected in the box score.
I heard your alarm go off. If you have something on the stove, please, Christian, you can go get it off and make sure we're all.
No, nothing with the stove. Not about the
Just playing. No, Kevin's done a great job, recently handling the ball, and sometimes that takes time when you've been out and you're trying to find your rhythm, and so we know how adept he is at jumping back in the lineup and making shots, but can he take care of the basketball, at times, and putting it all together? So it's been really, really impressive. I mean, 10 assists tonight, 2 turnovers, played through him a lot in the post or on the elbow or the nail, and he was able to pick them apart a little bit. So very, very impressive. I mean, you look at his line, what can I say? I got the luxury of coaching Kevin Durant, and you stick him in the game and good things happen.
Thanks so much, Coach. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Good night, everybody.
Kevin Durant, good at basketball, Frank.
Yeah. He's a playmaker. Who knew?
Games to nothing this season. They improved their lead over the Philadelphia 76ers, who were idle tonight. They now lead them by a game and a half in the East. Let's get the final thoughts from Ian Eagle and Sarah Kustok at Barclays Center.
Chris, it's 4 straight wins now for the Nets. This was an offensive exhibition through 3 quarters of play. And then it got a little too close for comfort in that 4th quarter. Indiana made a run. Kevin Durant came back into the game. The Nets stabilized things. Let's look big picture, though. Offensively, this team continues to set record after record after record with each game played.
And I think the impressive thing tonight is you look at the numbers, the production. It wasn't even one of the most efficient games from this group. The type of shots and quality looks they were creating that just didn't go down, or they weren't able to finish. I think those numbers could have been even bigger or better, but overall the fact that you have 6 Nets in double figures, including Kevin Durant's 40-point game, Alize Johnson's 20-point game to go along with 35 assists. The theme is consistent. It is an unselfish group that makes the right plays, and you see the continuity and consistency continue to grow regardless of who's on the floor.
Yeah, no Kyrie Irving, no James Harden, so just one of the big 3, Kevin Durant, front end of a back-to-back. So not quite sure what's going to happen in the second half against the Portland Trailblazers, but it's not limited to just Kevin Durant. Jeff Green certainly putting together a hot stretch here where the Nets can rely on him. Alize Johnson had been out. Health and safety protocols, first game back. He looked as energized as ever with a 2020 effort off the bench.
Out of quarantine. I think everyone starts to go a little nuts. And what you liked about Alize Johnson, it was the moments where he was making those plays that the team needed a little bit of a jolt. Yeah. And it was crashing the offensive glass. It was defensively able to stay in front, making some plays. And a lot of the numbers that you saw were just indicative of how hard he was playing. You mentioned Jeff Green setting the tone early. Kevin Durant, big time when it came to the point production, but early on he was facilitating. The 8 assists came from the fact that he was making plays. He was reading the double teams. You can go down the list. Tyler Johnson getting on the floor, Blake Griffin, Joe Harris, Landry Shannon hitting some big shots. Again, it is the complete effort where different points of the game, everyone is understanding their role, playing a role, and lending itself to this win in a variety of different ways.
Blazers have been scoring at a very high level of late, which could lead us to a very high scoring game in the second.